Okay, let's talk about this. I think we got it going here. I will cut the lights in a minute. Okay, everybody can see it now? Good deal. All right, so brake fluid should be free flowing at low and high temperatures, okay? So viscosity is very important. And boiling point of the brake fluid and freezing point of the brake fluid, the boiling point should be high enough where it won't boil when you come to a stop. Why would brake fluid boil? Why do you think brake fluid would boil? Was that? Pressure, okay. Well, you can pressurize the brake fluid, but it will boil to a certain extent, right? But what boils it up is the heat from the brake pads and the rotors in the front and drums and the shoes in the back. Okay? Think about it. If you're going 70 miles an hour, you have to slam on the brakes and come to a dead stop. Okay? Think how much heat that braking would put off. Lots and lots of it. Okay? Where's that heat going to? From the rotor to the pads, from the pads to the caliper, from the what's inside the caliper? Piston. And what's behind the piston? Brake fluid. Okay? All that heat gets transferred over, okay, into the brake fluid eventually, right? That brake fluid is basically circulating. When you press on the brake pedal, the brake fluid is gushed in behind the piston and pushing the piston against the pad, and the pad's pushing against the rotor, okay? So that's one thing. All that fluid is going to get hot, and when you let go on the brake pedal, all that fluid is going to gush back in. Most of it is going to gush back in the brake lines, and some of it will end up in the reservoir, master cylinder reservoir, okay? So that brake fluid has to maintain its heat and maintain its coolness. So that's very important, okay? And non-corrosive to metal and rubber brake parts. What do we have rubber? I know brake lines are metal or steel. What about the rubber? What's rubber in the braking system? Brake hoses, brake seals. What else? Master cylinder piston cup seals, okay? And all the valves, the mechanical valves in there, okay, they have to be freely moving. If there's corrosion building up in there, they're not going to freely move, okay? Like the combination valve and the proportioning valve, we'll talk about those, okay? Ability to lubricate metal and rubber brake parts. Well, of course, it's got to lubricate everything internally. If it doesn't, it will basically, the brake, the rubber parts in the brake system, they will eventually crack up and, break into pieces, okay, by getting brittle, okay? So it has to be lubricated. All right, types of fluid, dot 3, dot 4, and dot 5. Okay, dot 5, typically silicone-based fluid. We talked about dot 3 and dot 4 being hydroscopic, meaning they attract moisture from the air, even in a sealed container with a cap on it, okay? Still pulls in moisture from the air. Believe me or not, it does. I may be exaggerating it, but it does pull moisture from the air, okay? The only ones that don't are the silicone-based, okay? They're not hygroscopic, okay? Can you mix silicone-based and a non-silicone-based brake fluid? Why not? Well, they're two different chemicals, right? They won't mix in. Once they don't mix in, they will not. They will be compressed, okay? They will be compressed. Okay, why do we use brake fluid, not mechanical rods, to brake the car to a stop? Why not? Why not use mechanical rods and mechanical linkages or cables to bring the car to a stop? What's that? It can wear out, it can stretch, it can break, okay? Whereas hydraulic fluid, okay? Hydraulic fluid, can you compress liquids? No, liquids cannot be compressed. You can route that hydraulic fluid however shape or pattern you want. In little corners, you can turn the hose almost at 90 degrees. Okay, don't have to worry about it. Okay, so it makes it easy for you to route the hydraulic hoses and brake lines. That way, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Never mix polyblock glycol and silicone fluid. Polyglycol is the one that is hygroscopic. It will attract moisture. Okay. And silicone one is the .5 family of brake fluid. Okay. Always wear eye protection, right? You have to wear eye protection. Wear a chemical resistance glove to avoid skin irritation. Well, that's something that's up to you. If you want to wear, gloves to protect yourself, you can. It's up to you. Always store brake fluid in clean, dry containers. Why dry containers? Again, the moisture in there will mix in the brake fluid and bring the quality of the brake fluid down. Okay? Never reuse brake fluids. Well, that's what we just talked about, right? Never reuse brake fluids. What that means is, will this brake fluid on this toolbox over here that's been sitting over here, if I use it, will that be reusing it? Yes. And also, when you flush out the whole system, you put it in a pan, okay? You pump the brakes, bleed the brakes, you get brake fluid in a pan, right? Okay? Can you reuse it? Can you refilter it and reuse it? No. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'd be basically going through a lot of hassle and also be using a very bad quality brake fluid. Never do that. Why do we not want to spill brake fluid on the paint? Why don't we want to spill brake fluid on the paint? It will eat the paint up, basically, okay? It will eat the paint up and basically embed in the metal, okay? It will embed in the metal. The only way is to basically have the body shop do extensive body repair. So in most of the instances, end up replacing the whole part to get rid of the problem completely, okay? I should have had Randy King talk to you about this, but anyways. Okay. Brake pedal height, okay? Brake pedal acts as a lever, okay, where you gain some, boost when you step on the brake pedal. Because it's a lever, what it'll do is you put in, say for instance, it'll multiply the applied pressure to a certain extent, okay? Maybe two times or three times depending on the length of the brake pedal. Okay, the longer the brake pedal, the more the leverage, right? Same thing as torquing something down. The longer the wrench you have, the pipe, sometimes we use the cheater pipe, okay, to break something loose. Why do we do that? The further away you go from the fulcrum, okay, the more torque it puts on it. So easier it gets to break the things loose. Same thing over here. Same principle is applied over here, okay? Brake pedal pushes the push rod, which is right here, okay? Brake pedal pushes the push rod, and the push rod pushes the piston in the master cylinder, and the master cylinder piston pushes what? Brake fluid. And the fluid pushes what? How? Wheel cylinder or the caliper in the front calipers, okay? And then eventually we'll move the pads and the brake shoes, okay? That's basically the procedure. Simple as that, okay? I don't think this will work. Yep. Nope. I don't think it works. Okay, let's keep moving on. All right. Brake, linkage, and free play. Okay, if you feel your brake pedal, you got to have some free play. Okay, you got to have some free travel before you actually hit the piston in the master cylinder. That's called a free play. Okay, it's somewhere around about 1/16 of, I say, quarter of an inch at max. Okay, 1/6 or a quarter of an inch at max, because you have too much play. That's how much time in a panic stop. That's how much time you have to travel before your actual brakes are applied. Okay, you don't want to have too much. Or can you have too less? I mean, can you have less than that? Can you have no free play? You can? Well, if you do have no free play, the brakes are going to be really touchy. Really touchy. Astro Vans, one of the worst design on this free play. Okay? I can't remember how many, probably like over 20 of them that I worked on, Astro vans, when I was working for Ford. That was a nightmare. We had to every one of those vans had a recall, okay, because of almost no free play. You would literally hit your head on the windshield if you step on the brakes too hard, too quickly, okay? Some people got used to that and never felt any different, okay? They got used to, applying. When you drive a car and some's messed up with it, you know how to handle it. But some new person sits in it, they notice it right away because they are not used to that. Okay, they're not used to that. So that's what happened with a lot of people on the Astrovan. But Ford had a recall on that. What we did, there's behind that push rod, there's a little rubber grommet. We would take the master cylinder out. We would take that rubber spacer, basically. We would take that rubber spacer, and Ford supplied us with a thinner rubber spacer. We would replace that with it. Paid pretty good. I think it paid like 3.5 hours just to do that. Didn't take much at all. Just remove the master cylinder. Don't even undo the lines out of the way, and remove the booster. Get that grommet out with a pick. Put another one in. Put everything back together. Done. About 45 minutes, you'd be done. 3.5 hour pay job. So that was pretty good, but nightmare. Once the van gets out of warranty, guess how much customer pay on that is? 6 hours. Of course, the warranty, when the factory pays you, they pay you less. When customer pay you, they pay you almost double. So I like the customer pay all the time, because customer pay pays you more hours. That's how it's listed in the books, guys. If it's a warranty job, if it's a recall, factory will pay you the most minimum they can. But still, you can. The name of the game is doing it faster and right at the same time. Okay. Sometimes these are adjustable. Okay. There's a little all thread on this push rod, and there's a little nut that you can adjust that length of the rod. How much you want it, the end play or the free play on the brake pedal. Okay. Sometimes there is no adjustment on it. I love it when there's no adjustment. Okay? You don't have to worry about nothing. Okay? And if you do take one out, do not mess with that set screw. Okay? That comes set from factory. Yes, you can adjust it back, but it's a hassle. It's a hassle. Anything that I have to lay down under the dash and work at it, it's a hassle for me because, my back is hurting big time by laying down under the dash and working. I don't like to do that anymore. So that's why I'm saying be careful. Okay? All right. This is electronics. We'll talk about that in a minute. Split hydraulic system. Okay? It is mandated by federal regulations. What do I mean by split hydraulic system? Somebody tell me.
One line goes from front brake to the rear brake.
Very good.
And the opposite for the other line.
Very good. Somebody's been reading up. That's good. The other teacher told you? That's good. Okay. Somebody's been paying attention then. Okay. Wheels. Okay. Right front. Can everybody see this, or do I need to turn the lights on? I'll turn the lights on. Okay. Let's turn the lights on. Watch your eyes, guys, okay? Okay. So you have wheels, 4 wheels, right? Left front, left rear, right rear. Okay? You have one master cylinder. Okay? You have one master cylinder, but there's how many lines coming out of it? 2. Thank you. 2 lines. Okay? Split system in the master cylinder piston itself. I'm drawing it backwards. In the master cylinder piston itself, okay, there is 2 pistons built into one master cylinder. Okay? 2 separate pistons. There's a reason for that. There's a piston right here, and there could be a piston right here. This one splits off usually diagonally. Okay? This one splits off usually diagonally.